Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Grounded Hippie. I am Aditi and I like making budget travel videos from all around the world. In today's video, I share some essential tips about do's and don'ts for your first trip to Uzbekistan. So whether you're planning to travel soon or just dreaming about it, stay till the end because I share some valuable information that you don't want to miss. But before we dive in, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the like button if you like this kind of content. Now, without wasting any time, let's get started with the video. And just a small disclaimer that I will be looking away from the camera to consult with my notes from time to time throughout this video because I don't want to miss out on any point. So bear with me. First up, let's talk about Uzbekistan's culture and traditions. As a predominantly Muslim country, Uzbekistan is rich in cultural heritage. You'll find that respect for traditions, religious values, and family lays at the core of everyday Uzbeki life. People here are incredibly hospitable, and you will often be invited to share tea or have a meal at a local's house. But an important thing to keep in mind here is that tourism in Uzbekistan is relatively new. The country opened its borders to foreign visitors, I think in 2016 or 17, which means you'll get to experience an authentic culture that is not overly commercialized or hyped yet. But with that also comes the need to be very respectful and mindful towards local customs, which we will be discussing throughout this video. Two of the most frequently asked questions on my social media or like even in my friends and family group is when is the best time to visit the country and how long should you stay. Now, while I can answer the first question for you, the second one is subjective to your budget, to your free days. But yeah, so I think in terms of when to visit, the months between April to June and then from September to early November are the best months when you can visit the country. After June, it gets unbearably hot, and I think after November, it might get unbearably cold. So these months are really pleasant, and April is also kind of a shoulder season. Like that's when the peak season is about to begin, and it's like the last few weeks of the shoulder season. So that's when I visited, and things were like really cheap. So yeah, I think that would be like a really good time to visit. And well, like I said, I cannot answer how long you should stay or spend in the country because well, literally there's like tons of things to do, and I might even like go back myself to do them. But I would say that you should at least spend 7 to 10 days exploring the major tourist attractions like Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara, Kiva. I mean, that's something I missed, and I'm so bummed about it that I would love to go back. Also, if you want to get like a rough idea of how much it can cost to spend a week in Uzbekistan, I already have a vlog on my channel about this, which I would link somewhere here or down below. But yeah, you can find it like in the playlist as well. That would give you a rough, I mean, actually not a rough idea, but like a complete idea of how much flights, visa, accommodation, meals can cost, and also like some shopping details. So yeah, that's that. Now the very next section, of course, is the visa process and the currency. So Uzbekistan offers e-visas to many countries, including India, which makes the process like relatively straightforward. Again, I've done a detailed video on the visa process and how you can get it online, so be sure to check that out. Currency wise, the Uzbekistani som is what you'll mostly be using here. Although, like a lot of the bigger businesses, for example, hotels also accept dollars because I remember paying in dollars for all my stays, including Tashkent, Samarkand, and Bukhara, and But if you don't have the exact change in dollars, they might give you the change back in Uzbekistan, which you can use like for your meals and stuff. um Also, I would suggest carrying a mix of cash and maybe like a travel debit or credit card, because like ATMs are everywhere in the major cities, but it's always best to have cash for like smaller stores and stuff. Again, keep in mind that US dollars are like widely accepted everywhere, like even in restaurant. Yeah, I do remember paying in a restaurant as well using dollars. And I didn't really need to exchange the dollars to Som, because I mostly used like my debit card to withdraw the money. But from what I hear, you can exchange your dollars in most of like the supermarkets and stuff, so that should be pretty easy. Okay, the next question was sent to me by one of the recent followers on my Instagram. I think they came through those big videos. So thank you for the question, and here's your answer about whether you should learn some Uzbeki or Russian phrases before you visit Uzbekistan. And I think like most of us travelers, when we are about to visit a new country, we have this thought of whether I should learn some basic phrases or how to say hello, thank you, or ask for, I don't know, the nearest ATM or hospital. And I would say that it's really really helpful to know that. I live in Thailand now, and I sure cannot speak the complete language, but I have picked up on some useful phrases and words that make my life here very easy. So yeah, if you can learn some Uzbeki and Russian to just get by, I think that'd be a great idea. But even if you cannot, and I did not learn anything. I just know a couple of Russian words thanks to one of the Russian friends that I have, but I never used any. Most people here speak or understand English, like in Uzbekistan, so that should be okay. Or you can use Google Translate if you're feeling too lazy, or if you're planning a last minute trip and don't really have the time to learn a new language. But yeah, like if you have the time, then yeah, why not? It's always great to learn a new language, and plus it does get you into the inner circle with the locals. So yeah, maybe you can use how to say hello or how to say thank you, or maybe how to ask questions like, oh, how much is this, or where is the train station. Yeah, if you can, then that'd be really amazing. But if you can't, then yeah, I think it's okay. um, with that, we come to the next section, which is the Uzbek cuisine. While food is normally my most favorite section of any video that talks about food. So Uzbek cuisine, oh my god, like my mouth is watering just thinking about like the shashliks and the samsas. But it's it's amazing, it's delicious, it's fulfilling. Some of the most popular dish that you would like find everywhere in Uzbekistan includes the Uzbeki pulao. It's basically more or less like the Indian pulao. But there's like a meat version where they add some meat. It's mostly I think lamb or mutton, and then some dry fruits. And they also have the shashliks, like sorry, which are like kebabs, but so much better, and they just melt in your mouth. They're so yummy. And also like the bread, like everywhere you go in Uzbekistan, and every dish and every cafe, you would have these amazing, like these big breads. They call it naan bread, but I mean, yeah, it might look like naan, like the shape, but they're huge and they're yummy. You can just have it with maybe a cup of tea or your main meal. So these are some things that you should definitely consider. Also, if you're a vegetarian, you might have limited options, but it's not zero. So the friend that I was traveling with, Shreya, is a vegetarian, and most of the places that we went to, it was really easy to tell them that, oh yeah, my friend is vegetarian, so can you make a vegetarian version of this dish, like minus the meat, and they could do it like very easily. um but yeah, like I'm not sure if like the local eateries would be able to do a vegetarian version, because some of them only have like one dish on the menu, which is pulao and the non-vegetarian version, and some chai. But if you went to like a slightly upscale, or like a regular restaurant, I think they would have some vegetarian items on the menu, or they might as well just do a vegetarian version of the meat dish. um yeah, I think that's about that. Okay, so we come to the next section, which is kind of important. That is your transportation and accommodation in Uzbekistan. Now, let's start with transportation first. Getting around Uzbekistan is fairly easy. You have like buses and train connectivity between cities, and it's really easy. For booking intercity rails, for example, like to go from Tashkent to Bukhara, Samarkand, or Kiva, you can use the official Uzbekistan Railways website. I will put the link down below in the description. And well, I booked the train tickets for my trip, I think like a few weeks in advance. I think a couple of weeks, and you might be able to get last minute tickets, but I would suggest not to take that risk, especially if you're short in time. It's best to book your tickets in advance, and you can just do it using like a Master or Visa card, so that'd be easy. As for accommodation, again, like my other video about the budget of Uzbekistan has links to the places that I stayed at and how much they can cost. But let me just touch base on the best areas that you can stay in. In Tashkent, it would be, I think, near, yeah, I think it's best to stay near Amir Temur Square, because that's like central, and most of the places are very like are highly accessible from there, and you also have like metros and buses. So staying somewhere close to Amir Temur Square would be really good. In Samarkand, I stayed near the Gur Amir Mausoleum, which I think is also, it's very close to the Registan Square, which is like 10 minutes from Gur Amir Museum. So I think staying in somewhere in the old city is ideal, so you can reach all these places without like spending too much travel time or spending too much money paying for a taxi. And it's the same as in Bukhara, so you should definitely stay in the old town, because that's where everything is. I have some recommendations for the properties or the hotels and the homestays that I stayed at in that video, the cheapest or like the budget video for Uzbekistan. But now I'm thinking I would also link them down here, so you can find all my recommendations in the description box. All right. This brings me to my next tip, or next suggestion about safety in Uzbekistan. And I want to club safety with your attire, with your appearance, because somewhere it also relates to the cultural and traditional values of Uzbekistan. So, speaking of safety, I think Uzbekistan is one of the safest places that I have been to. So, it's really, really safe for travelers, including solo women. Well, my trip wasn't solo. I traveled with another friend, but we were women, like we were two women. And like literally, I remember us walking around like the streets in Tashkent at I think 2 a.m., because we randomly decided to explore the nightlife of Tashkent. There wasn't much. We only went to a restaurant, had a couple of wines, but we felt extremely safe in cabs, like walking down really dark alleys in Samarkand or Bukhara, heading like walking back to our hotel from like the old town or the markets. We felt safe in general. We were not like, there was no catcalling, no weird looks, no nothing, not even for a second. But that being said, it could just be like one isolated experience. You must still take care of your belongings and of yourself. But in general, Uzbekistan is a really safe country. But when it comes to attire, let's not forget that it is a primarily Muslim country. And so you are expected to dress modestly out of respect for the local culture and people, especially when you're visiting religious sites, and there are tons of them like all around the country. For women, that means no short skirts, no, I think, noodle straps. I mean, I didn't see anyone wearing it, like not none of the tourists. So I think it's best that you cover your shoulders and your knees. No tank tops or like mini skirts. And I think men, I mean, for men it's mostly okay, but I didn't really see anybody wearing like, swim shorts and stuff. There people were wearing three-fourths like men. But it was kind of also cold, so yeah, maybe not wear like your swimming shorts. Like overall, just like, don't do something that you think might offend the local people, because after all, traveling to new countries is also about like showing our appreciation for customs and cultures and traditions, and we need to respect that. Night safety, like I said, it's like pretty good, and yeah, everything is fine. If you are a solo traveler, especially a woman, I would still recommend that you stay in like a crowded part of town. I mean, we felt completely safe again, but your safety is in your own hands. So if your gut's telling you not to do something, don't do it. Right. That being said, the next section that I want to cover, and I'm not going to spend too much time, just like run through it briefly, because I also have another vlog about the best places or experiences to have in Uzbekistan. So maybe you can check that out. But yeah, but I would like to quickly talk about some of the places that you can visit, and what are some of the things that you can buy for yourself or as souvenirs if you are visiting any of the three cities that I've been to. Um, Again, I would like to say I was really, really bummed and heartbroken that I missed Kiva, and I so wish that I had spent a couple of days in Kiva and cut short my time in Tashkent. But that just means that I'm gonna have to go back again. But yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I would only keep like one full day for Tashkent, not more, and then go to like Samarkand for 2 days, Bukhara for 2 days, and I think Kibar for 2 days. And you can also go to some of the mountains if you have more time. But yeah, that'd be my recommendation. Also, I visited Bukhara towards the very end of my trip, and I was like completely maxed out on monuments. So instead of going to the Ark of Bukhara, which is definitely, I think, like the topmost place to visit in Bukhara, I went across the road to Bukhara Tower, and I enjoyed like an aerial view of Ark of Bukhara and the whole town. So you can do that if you like. Um, but yeah, to each their own. Other than that, I felt like every place I went to was worth the time and effort and the money. Um, Another question that I received on my Instagram, like a few of you asked about, is like, what can you bring back from Uzbekistan, or what can you shop in Uzbekistan? Let's start with Tashkent. Now, there are many markets as such, but I think Chorsu Bazaar in Tashkent is the most popular, and it's known for like spices and dry fruits and like beautiful ceramics, and they're so cheap. I'm not kidding. Like, I think I brought back like 5 or 6 kilos of dry fruits for only, eh, I think, 2,000 rupees. So it was like really, really cheap. In Samarkand, you can go to Sio Bazaar, and you can get like baked bread, but I'm not sure if you can bring them back with you. But you can definitely enjoy it while you're in Uzbekistan. The bread is also known as, I think, Samarkand non, but it's just like the Samarkand bread. This market is again also known for like spices and dry fruits and local honey, and I think you can bring back all of them. So yeah, that be a really good choice. And finally, I think in Bukhara, it's so Bukhara, there are like three main markets. They're like divided by the kind of items they sell, and I only went to one, which is like the main like jewelry market, also known as Toki Zargaron. This is where you would find like a lot of handmade jewelry and like souvenirs that if you want to, you might want to bring back for your family and relatives. So you would also see like a lot of craftsmanship here, which has been going on for like thousands and thousands of years. And it's also a great place to like get some high quality silk products if you want. After all, Uzbekistan is on the Silk Route, and it was a very major uh, part of the Silk Route, so this is where you can get that. And like, even if you don't buy anything, I would still say go to at least one or two of these bazaars, because they give you a lot of opportunities to shop. But even if not, they would provide you with a very like with a deeper insight into the daily life and like cultural importance and heritage of this country. And I think that's probably the most important aspect of travel. um, with that, I think we come to the last section, which is like the local customs and laws in the country. To be honest, like I felt like all of Uzbekistan was very hospitable, very warm. People were very welcoming. There was like no strict regimen or anything, but like respecting local laws and customs, no matter which country you visit in, is very important. So for example, I read that some of the like some of the metro stations did not allow photography up until recently. So if you're pointing a camera, or if you want to take some photos and shoot some videos, especially of people, I think it's best to ask permission first. Like if you're in a marketplace and if you're just pointing and shooting, that's a different thing. But if you're going to shoot someone specifically, ask them politely for their permission, and mostly people don't say no. And also be mindful of taking photos and videos of religious places, of public places, and just like keep an eye around for any signs that might say it's not allowed, or like if there's maybe a guard or something, you can just quickly check with them if it's okay. And if they say it's okay, then yeah, just go right ahead. Other than that, well, yeah, tap water, like don't drink it. Just buy bottled water. It's like very cheap anyway. So don't drink tap water. It's okay to take a shower and everything, but yeah, don't drink that. And also, like, again, highlighting the fact that Uzbekistan is a Muslim country. So public display of affection and being too cozy with your partner may not be accepted that openly. So yeah, be mindful of that. And as for scams, to be honest, I don't think we came across any scams. Like I almost thought I did, because when we landed in Tashkent airport at night, the cab driver told us that we couldn't book a taxi, and we had to just take the taxis that are available outside the airport. And they charged us about 120,000 som. And like later I thought maybe we got scammed, then maybe they were lying. I mean, they might have lied about the part that about like not being able to book a taxi, but the price that they charged was like pretty fair. They didn't charge over, like they didn't charge us extra, so I wouldn't really consider it a scam. mm, so yeah, so like we didn't come across any scams anywhere. But even then, be careful, be cautious about your money, about your like laptops, phones. Because like no matter where you go, it's not just about like the locals of the country. You have people like, there are good and bad people everywhere. And you, although it is very nice to keep an open mind and to be positive and to trust everybody, you can't really be negligent, you know. So like keep your valuables close to you. Don't leave your passports and your laptops and your phones unattended, or your money. So yeah, like just take care of everything, like enjoy your travel, but also be careful of your surroundings. um Finally, yeah, like um We normally carried our passport in the bag, like me and my friend. But if you're staying in a hotel with which provides you like a locker or a safe in your room, you can leave the passport, but you can maybe keep a copy of the passport with you. For train tickets, like I said, I would mention the Uzbeki Railway Web's official site link in the description, so you can use that to book your railways. Don't worry about going through an agent and paying extra and all of that. Um, and I think like it would also, you might not need it, but it also helps if you keep like the local emergency contacts handy, like your country's embassy in Tashkent or something, in case you need it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Uzbekistan is like a stunning country with so much to offer, and there's like so much literally to see and do. And I think with these tips, you will be well prepared for an unforgettable journey. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you know any family or friends, family member or friends who are probably planning a trip to Uzbekistan soon, share these all these videos with them. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next vlog.